Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Suzanne Uten, formerly Sister Claudia, has begun a new life. For 17 years, Uten was a sister at the Community of Jesus, eventually rising in the ranks to become personal assistant to Mother Cay and Mother Judy, a job she thought would bring her closer to God, but turned out, she says, to be closer to slavery.
It's not what they are saying it is. It's not at all. They're enslaving people there, and while you're there, you don't see it.
Uten says that within the sisterhood and brotherhood, she saw the most extreme abuse: forced starvation, backbreaking work, sleep deprivation, praise alternated with scorn. The first time Uten dared to question, she says, Mother Judy exploded in a violent rage.
She took her emerald diamond-studded ring off and was slapped over and over again across my face. I was so numb, I didn't know what to do. And then I was beaten in front of a whole community of 150 people across my back. You see, that intimidates.
Former member Barbara Tomasi remembers one incident involving Suzanne.
You always knew when someone was on a discipline, it was silence. And I hadn't seen her for an awfully long time. And her face was sort of deformed and twisted. And she just couldn't speak. And I knew enough not to ask any questions.
I was forced to take medicine, tranquilizers, and I was not allowed to look at them. And I know that I was allergic to two of them because one made me shatter. My teeth were just, I was shaking and shattering for weeks on end.
Uten ultimately got away, but not before, she says, she was taken forcibly to the community's private retreat in Bermuda.
I was placed in Bermuda under lock and key, behind doors. I could not leave. And don't believe when they say you can freely leave, that you can freely leave. You cannot freely leave.
Too much is happening.
Samantha Hamilton says she was never hit as a sister, but was alternately force-fed, then screamed at as a form of indoctrination.
Another sister made my plate at night, and they would make me eat until I couldn't eat anymore. And I ended up going in the bathroom after meals, and then on top of it, they're all yelling at me. You know, I'm the subject of almost every dinner conversation, so they're all yelling at me. I couldn't do anything right.
Eventually, like Suzanne Uten, Samantha Hamilton says she had to escape from the community.
I ran through the backwoods and over the back fence, and I hid behind the docks that were up. They had pulled the docks up from the harbor, and I hid behind there because it was night and cars are coming in and out, and if someone had seen me, I mean, they would have taken me right back.
In response, the Community of Jesus says that these allegations are entirely false, that at no time was any brother or sister drugged, hit, or held against their will.
There are so many people already living here and so many people who wish to come that anybody who wants to leave, from my point of view, is more than welcome. That's even, if you think about, that's even counterproductive to everything we attempt to live and to do here, because here we wish that supportive atmosphere, that supportive family situation in which people's relationships can be reconciled. Certainly nothing like that could ever take place if somebody's held against their will.
No fences barred them from leaving, but former members say they were psychologically imprisoned, paralyzed by the fear that God's wrath would descend on them if they left. This phobia keeps people in a constant state of conflict, experts say, unless they suddenly realize something is wrong. Is that what happened to co-founder Judy Sorensen's own daughter? Once community spokesperson, she left in 1988 following hospitalization for surgery. Jill Sorensen-Elmer would not talk to Chronicle, but in an affidavit obtained from Suffolk Superior Court, she charged that while she was sick, members of the community removed her children from her home without her knowledge, while for 2 months telling her children their mother did not want to see them. Elmer also alleges the community told others her illness was God's punishment for not putting the community first. In the affidavit, Jill Elmer Sorensen also talks about how she was a virtual slave to the community, working 365 days a year, how she was taught that family orientation was sinful and to be discouraged, how she feared that the community might abduct and hide her children from her. And remember, this was not just any ordinary member talking. This was co-founder Judy Sorensen's own daughter.
That is just so unbelievable, so far-fetched. I don't even really know quite how to respond to you. Nothing like that, to my knowledge, has ever taken place here.
So in essence, you're saying that she was in a court of law, was making this up.
I can't say that, Mary, because I'm not privy to that girl's thoughts.
The reason, one of the reasons that Jill's story interests me so much is she's not just any member. She was the founder's daughter.
Yes.
And just a few years before this, I might add, was a spokesperson for the community.
Yes, she was.
And
so
defended the community to the hilt, just as you are doing now.
So you would have to, again, you would have to ask her. I really do not know what she is talking about.
Coming up next,
and we send a 100-page workbook of
the business of doing God's work.